Tonight on Joy News Prime, as lagoons dry up, communities reel under plastic waste pollution. Tonight, we look at the continuous dumping of plastic waste into gutters and its toll on coastal communities.
That commit that suicide, they are the same people that insult the people of Choko. When there is outbreak of cholera because of the fields, it moves into the community and then affects so many people.
AMA officers confiscate vegetables on sale in front of a public toilet at Makola No. 2 Market.
Toilet any aduane eko. Mame, sister nyama ni sesia, please. Ehaya he. Toilet, please, sister the thing.
Gas.
Madam, ehaya he.
Also in this bulletin, Ghana's population is now 30.8 million. 51% of all kiosks are found in the Greater Accra region. We have updates on the 2021 census.
From the data, we realize that 15% of the structures that we have in Greater Accra are metal containers. Moving forward, we also observe that more than half of the kiosks in the entire country are in Greater Accra.
And in business, government expecting a buoyant cocoa sector as COCOBOD signs $1.5 billion syndicated loan for next crop season with its international lenders.
Following the implementation of pragmatic policies and interventions, coupled with our industrial farmers, we have set another national production record of over 1.04 million metric tons.
Joy News Prime is coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on your digital terrestrial TV, because we're free to air on DSTV channel 421 and Go TV channel 144. Remember, we're your home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. Do stay tuned in. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. Many thanks for choosing us. The continued dumping of plastic waste into gutters is having a toll on coastal communities in Accra, as many lagoons have become choked. The Chemo Lagoon, one of Accra's largest, is almost dead now, and residents of Choko, the city suburb where the lagoon joins the sea, say the pollution is breeding mosquitoes, bat stench and cholera. My colleague Justice Bedu has been there.
Those who have lived here long enough say time was when this now dead lagoon was a green space where fishermen could come with their canoes and catch fishes like tilapia. Even those in their mid-20s reminisce good old days when they too could come here as children and even swim.
Now the Chemu, once the beating heart of Choko's landscape, is choked by filth, mainly rubbers and plastic bottles. The consequence is dire.
As you can see the sea over there, the sea is, I don't know how God created that sea. It don't like that. So no matter how dirt you put inside, it will drop it back for you.
Ebenezer Kobina is 21 years. In Choko, where he lives, everyone calls him Wendy Shea. He's a prolific footballer. 2 years ago, he decided to quit playing in part because he had no support, and the beach, the only place they train, had been taken over by plastics. And clearing it like this every day before they play was a tough job.
When it is raining and the rain is heavy, you see that the water moves faster. And when the water moves, it comes straight to this lagoon. So, it is raining. To waste my money to give them, let me dump it here so that it can move. And that's the way too they used to dump the rubbish inside the lagoon.
The Greater Accra region has surpassed the Ashanti region as the most populous region in the country after the Ghana Statistical Service revealed the provisional numbers for the 2021 Population and Housing Census. The Ghana Statistical Service revealed that the provisional population for Ghana is 30.8 million. Females remain the majority of the country's population with 50.7%, whilst males represent 49.3%. Kwekwa Sante has more in the following report.
The Population and Housing Census was originally scheduled for 2020 until COVID-19 struck, forcing a change of plans. The last census was in 2010 with an estimated population of 24.6 million. For 2021, Ghana's population is now 30.8 million, with 51.2% majority being females. The Greater Accra region has also surpassed the Ashanti region as the most populous region.
Greater Accra region has caught up with Ashanti region. Indeed, from the provisional figures, we are seeing Greater Accra region edging up as the most populous region marginally. Between 2010 and 2021 population and housing census, with our 24.7 million that we recorded in 2010 and the current population figure that we have now, the population change over the period is 24.9. Provisional results from the 2021 population and housing census indicates that Ghana's population has increased from 24.7 in 2010 to 30.8 from the 2021 population and housing census.
Field officers started gathering data for the population and housing census between 27 June and 8 August 2021. There were two different extensions to capture more details. The census revealed a 3.6 average household size in Ghana.
Following the 2021 population and housing census, we identified a total of 8.4 million households in Ghana. We recorded an average household size from the 2021 population and housing census standing at 3.6.
There are 10.7 million structures counted in the census, with the majority of kiosks and other such structures found in the Greater Accra.
Specifically, we saw Greater Accra having the highest number of structures, 2.1 million structures. 20% of structures in Ghana are either metal, wooden structure, or kiosks. From the data, we realized that 15% of the structures that we have in Greater Accra are metal containers. Moving forward, we also observed that more than half of the kiosks in the entire country are in Greater Accra.
Speaking at the event for the release of the provisional census figures, Information Minister Kojo Nkrumah commended the Ghana Statistical Service for carrying out the census despite COVID-19.
COVID-19, as you mentioned, put the brakes on many national exercises, many census exercises in other parts of the world, but you, despite this, were able to brave the odds and to carry this through, and once again, we congratulate you.
Chair of the Governing Board of the Statistical Service, Dr. Grace Bediako, believes the new figures will play a critical role in government's digitization agenda.
The census is one of many initiatives that will further the digitization agenda of the country.
According to the Ghana Statistical Service, out of the 10.7 million structures listed, 20% were metal containers, kiosk and wooden structures. Maxwell Agbagba was in a community called Kofi Krom, where residents have been compelled by the high cost of rent to live in kiosk.
Come to Kofi Krom, located in the heart of the capital, Accra. Well, people who live here have been compelled to live in these wooden structures. Many of them tell me that they are unable to afford the high cost of rent in Accra. They say that they have to pay 70 Ghana cedis monthly to live in these shacks. I've been speaking to Al-Hassan Abubakar. He's a driver and says his wife and children live with his grandmother, but he has been forced to live in this kiosk because he cannot pay.
If you want to go in a rent room, it is too much of money. If you want to go and take it somewhere, they say you have to pay 2 years, 3 years advance before they will give you the room. They will handle the room to you. So if you don't have that money, they will handle the room to you. So if you don't have that money, that's why we will come hard ourselves for here. The way we knock some small kiosks, where we to be inside, where we to be sleep. Where we to take some give some people's. Where that people to know, they know if they go rent that room to know, they know figure money where they will go rent that room. So our room to know, where we not come to know. A week you know, a month you know, we they take a month in 70 Ghana. But we they take 3 months. 3 months because of houseless. Everybody no get some. So 3 months, you know, if you calculate them, then you pay, so that we handle the room for you. Okay. So if you do inside 3 months, if the time reach, if you want to renew to her, so that you renew back to again. Because of the why we rent out at 70 Ghana, the plywood is cost. Oh, like if I get money, like somebody will go hold me, like me to I get my work where they do, and we will stay here.
I've also been speaking to Moro Abdullah. He's an Okada rider. He has also been compelled by his financial situation to live in this kiosk here.
I'm from Kumasi, where I come Accra. But I did Accra the time where I did Alajo. I did my uncle in there. I was like 7 years back. Still, I don't have money to rent room. So that's for me to rent. I see myself, so now I grow. So I supposed to leave my uncle down and come hustling place and come and hustle myself. Okay. So that's why I'm here. I try hustle to find some money and go and buy wood and come and do my own room, then a day inside. So that time I hustle and do other two rooms add. They make 3. So I did 1 inside, though I rent the 2.
Oh, okay.
So that 2 where they take half my everything.
Okay.
Yes,
we don't make money small.
Yes, sir. Oh, I'm not happy to say I'm here because of here. If you come see here, condition. If you rain, they come yourself, crampona. You say you know like because of rain time, you suffer for here. Okay. Because of you are here like it's no day. Like if I get the movement why they do something to come out there, they come from my side here. I don't mean say I'm supposed to come out here. So I did here. If I tell you so I like here, I don't want. No, that's why.
But why you still here?
Oh, now still, I'm trying to do my best.
Okay. You not get money now?
No, I don't get money.
That was Maxwell Agbagba with that report. Joining me for a conversation is Abno Seyakotu, who is Director Survey and Census Organization at the Ghana Statistical Service, and Samuel Amegayebo. He's Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. I'm grateful, lady and gentlemen, but I'll start with you, lady. What did the data say is accounting for the Greater Accra becoming the most populous region, surpassing Ashanti region?
Thank you very much for the opportunity given us, and good evening to listeners. The data that we have is basically what we said preliminary. We are then going to delve into it and get into the detailed reports. So from the detailed reports, then we will know what are the factors that are affecting the regions that Greater Accra has caught up and slightly past Ashanti region. But for a layman, for instance, we will all know that everybody aspires to be in Accra because Accra is the capital city. And quite a number of people try and move to Accra wherever they are, because when they surely get to Accra, they think their livelihood will be a little better than what it is. So from the layman's point of view, that is what I think. But in coming up with our detailed reports, there will be a report on housing, there will be a report on labor and other thematic reports. It will help us unveil what their causes are. Thank you.
I think I can bring in the gentleman, Mr. Osagyefo. Do you think we are putting up enough houses to accommodate our growing population? Kindly unmute for me, Mr. Osagyefo. Kindly unmute for me. Unmute.
Sorry.
Great.
Good evening to your viewers. And I'm very sure, Aisha, the answer to this question, you know it very well. We are all doubting about the housing deficit, which I'm sure the census will give us a better picture after the full report is done. But we are already aware that it has crossed the margin of 2 million. And so in terms of housing for the people, we are not doing well. But that is not to say housing is not being supplied. I mean, real estate developers are doing their best to put some houses on the market.
Okay.
Except that affordability has been a bigger issue. And so the majority of the people who need the accommodation at the moment, unfortunately, don't have it. So in that respect, we haven't done well.
All right, so for the sake of our viewers, I think we can break down the population situation as put together by the Joy Research team. And here, there you have it. It's 30,792,608, which is approximated to be 30.8 million total. The breakdown of male is 15.6 million for females, 50.7%, and 15.2 for million for males, which represent 49.3% there. Now, let's do a comparison from 1960 to 2021, and we look at how it started. 1960, 3 years after independence, it stands at 6.7 million. 1970, 8.6 million. 1984, 12.3 million. In 2000, 18.9 million. 2010, we have 24.7 million. And in 2021, it's 30.8 million. And you just can understand the state increase in the number of people living in the country. Remember, this is conducted every 10 years. So this is the population size of Ghana from 1960 to 2021, as we've just made it simple for you to understand. Now, these are the key takeaways from the preliminary reports presented to us today by the Census department. And if you look at the average household size, it has been on the decline since 2000. It's now 3.6. So in every house, you have 3.6 members over there. And the population has grown almost fivefold since the first post-independence census, which was conducted in 1960. 5 times increase of our population. Now, we're being told that the Greater Accra is now overtaking Ashanti Region. Ashanti Region used to have the highest number of people. Now it's coming back to Greater Accra, at least according to the preliminary report. Greater Accra has overtaken Ashanti Region as the nation's most populous region. And if you look at Ahafo has now replaced the Upper West as the nation's least populous region. You remember the Upper West used to have the least population in the country. Now Ahafo has taken over that. Then you look at number of households, and that also we're doing a comparison for you from 1960 to 2021. And if you look at the number of households, you see that you have 1.5 million in 1960. In 1970, fast forward, 1.8 million. In 1984, it comes up to 2.5 million. In 2000, 3.7 million. In 2010, you have 5.5 million. And just look at that figure there. From 2010 to 2021, boom, 8.3 million. That's how much we've increased with the number of households. And this is a breakdown of the number of households per the population census. It says that 20% of structures in Ghana are metal containers, wooden structures or kiosk. Now, what is the breakdown? Conventional structures make up for 78.7%. And then you look at the metal structures, which makes up of 8.0%. You look at kiosk, and that gives you that blue color. It's 2.8%. And then you come to wooden structures. Wooden structures has overtaken metal and kiosk at 9.7%. and then they put others at 0.9% there. This is it, 20% out of the 10.7 million structures listed. 20% were metal containers, kiosk, and wooden structures. So you put all of this together, you have 20% of the total structures in the population census over there being metal containers, kiosk, and wooden structures. Let me ask you this, my lady. For some of the structures you listed, especially the kiosk, majority of which are in Accra, were these for residential or business purposes?
Thank you very much. The structure, when you list it, you also have to find out the use to which the structure is put.
Okay.
There are some that are put to use by being residential as well as being a shop or being put to another use. And there are some which are strictly for residential purpose. So from the data, you will tell, or you can tell, which ones are strictly for residential purposes and which ones are being used for dual purposes, basically.
Okay. Mr. Megaibo, the Ghana Statistical Service reveals that 51% of... Okay. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Hello, Mrs. Akoto, go ahead. I think I missed your last point.
No, I'm not saying anything.
All right. So,
okay.
Mr.
I was saying that there are multiple purposes. Some of them are used for multiple purposes.
Okay.
But from the data, you should be able to tell which ones are being used for multiple purposes and which ones are being used solely as residentials.
Okay. Now, the Ghana Statistical Service reveals that 51% of all kiosk structures are in Accra. What do you make of that? Has that got to do with housing deficit and cost? Mr. Magaibo.
Yes, you see, there's a high urban migration. A lot of people are moving into the city for greener pasture and other things. And unfortunately, they come ill-informed and don't really understand the terrain. And so they enter without any information and get stranded. And shelter is a basic necessity. If you don't have it, it's a difficulty. So if you don't have adequate or any proper accommodation, you are forced to make use of what is available. And so people have actually taken advantage of this situation and are also making money out of these people. They are taking over people's land. You give your land to somebody to take care of it. The caretaker now becomes a second landowner and also rent the place out and allow people to come and put kiosks on the land. I mean, in the meantime, when you are not using it, they also make money out of it. You'll be surprised to know that some people are paying 5 to 10 cedis a day to live in some of these kiosks. These kiosks that don't have any toilet facility and water facility, all the basic amenities that you need to survive on as human beings, none of them exist in this kiosk estate. In fact, they call them kiosk estates, and they are located in several parts of Accra. I'm sure tomorrow your camera can go around and find out. If you drive from Accra to Tema, the motorway on your right, you'll see some of this kiosk estate there. And it is worrying because it is bringing a whole lot of issues. I mean, it shows social vices. A lot of people are hiding in some of these improperly addressed communities and are creating a lot of trouble. A lot of them too are genuinely there just because they cannot find, this accommodation anywhere, and they have migrated to Accra and must get some kind of accommodation. So we need to do something about it. The other time I was giving some statistics that they said in Ghana in West Africa, generally, about 13% of our population have the purchasing power to buy houses. About 60% can afford rental if they find it. But the rest of the percentage can never buy nor rent. And these people are vulnerable. Unfortunately, we don't have any social systems in place to take care of some of these unfortunate people. That is why, we are getting this problem. So until government comes up with a social housing program, we will not be able to manage this situation. And I'm very sure that it's going to get worse because the migration hasn't stopped. The people in the village think that there's better living in Accra. Instead of staying there to farm and all that, they're also not getting the necessary support to stay wherever they are. So everybody is now coming to Accra. not Accra alone, most of the capital towns, Takoradi, Kumasi, Sunyani, and the rest are also experiencing something similar. But Accra is experiencing the worst scenario, and the survey has actually given us exactly what our expectation has been.
I'm grateful for your time, ladies and gentlemen. Abno Seakoto is Director Survey and Census Organization at the Ghana Statistical Service, and Samuel Megayibo is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Developers Association. We're still live on Joy News Prime. Remember to tweet at us with the hashtag Joy News Prime. And coming up shortly in business, government expecting a buoyant cocoa sector as COCOBOT signs a $1.5 billion syndicated loan for next crop season with its international lenders.
In the implementation of pragmatic policies and interventions, coupled with our industrious farmers, we have set another national production record of over 1.04 million metric tons.
Hello there, welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. The Ghana Cocoa Board has signed a $1.5 billion syndicated loan for the 2021 and 2022 cocoa crop season with its international lenders. The facility complements Cocoa Board's 10-year record of exceeding its production target for the 2020 and 2021 cocoa crop season. Take a listen to the Deputy Chief Executive of Cocoa Board, Emmanuel Ray Ankara, after the Chief Executive signed the agreement in Berlin, Germany.
I mean, we went in for 1.5, and there were people ready to give us 1.7, not less, more, $200 million more than what we wanted. We had 24 banks from all over the world queuing up, begging to give us money. That should tell you something about the good stuff and all the good things that we are doing. And there's another statistics which is very, very important, which I really want you to focus on. It's to do with the early bird. The early bird are the people who, for whatever reason, will want to do it very quickly. They want to get in there and lend you money. Now, we had early bird commitment as soon as the syndication was launched at $515 million, which is a third of what we are asking for. Now, this, to our mind, is very impressive. I go back to the point I made earlier on. For the past over 30 years we've been doing this, we have not defaulted. Not only have we not defaulted, but we are now so good at doing these things, we pay 2 months early. The season starts 1st of October. We are hoping that the money should be in 2nd, 3rd, 4th of October. We are learning our lessons. I mean, as soon as the season begins, our cocoa farmers, our LBCs, they need to be paid whatever produce they have. And so we are working very, very rapidly, all the conditions precedent and all the things that need to be put in place to ensure that the money will come in very quickly. We are on top of it.
Meanwhile, the interest rate of the facility is LIBOR plus 110 basis points or 0.11%. In all, 24 banks took part in the $1.5 billion syndication loan. Standard Chartered Bank, Societe Generale, and the Ghana International Bank were the lead arrangers. Manta Nata is Chief Executive of Standard Chartered Bank, one of the arrangers of the facility.
We at Standard Chartered are proud to be associated with this facility and the overall relationship with Cocoa Board. Now, on this year's syndication, I would like to formally welcome you all on behalf of the Arranger Group to celebrate the successful close and signing of the 29th pre-export receivables-backed trade finance facility to Ghana Cocoa Board for the financing of the 2021-2022 cocoa crop season. This year's facility closed at $1.5 billion and attracted a total of 24 geographically diverse banks participating in this facility, reflecting Cocoa Board's strong appeal to international investors as well as to the borrower's robust credit story.
We stay a little longer on the signing of the $1.5 billion cocoa syndication loan because the Minister for Agriculture, Dr. Osagyefo, is also confident of deepening partnerships to ensure Ghana's cocoa sector is buoyant amid the COVID-19 pandemic.
Ghana's cocoa industry, led by the industry regulator Ghana Cocoa Board, has served as an icon of good corporate governance in the sub-region and has remained vibrant because of its continued partnership with relevant stakeholders across the globe. Since 1992-93 crop season, we have on an annual basis successfully solicited funds from local and international financial institutions in the form of pre-export syndicated loan. Let me put it on record that there has never been any point in time that we have defaulted in repaying the loan. This year, the consortium of banks have put together $1.5 billion United States dollars to facilitate crop purchases for the 2021-2022 season. We intend to strictly use this money for the intended purpose, that is, ensuring prompt payment to farmers for their produce at the point of sale. I'm happy to announce that following the implementation of pragmatic policies and interventions, coupled with our industrious farmers, we have set another national production record of over 1.04 million metric tons for the 2020-2021 crop season. Mr. Chairman, I wish to reiterate the NPP government's resolve to make Ghana's cocoa industry a formidable pillar for the Ghanaian economy.
And that'll be it for business. We have sports coming next. Just stay.
It's time for sports, and ahead of the start of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League season, officials of the Ghana Football Association's Club Licensing Board have inspected the renovated Baba Yara Stadium, home venue of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, and King Faisal, as well as the Division 1 outfit Asokwa Deportivo. Love FM's Steve Zando has more in this report.
The club licensing department of the Ghana Football Association earlier today was at the Baba Yara Sports Stadium in Kumasi to inspect the facility ahead of the start of the upcoming football season. As part of the new requirement of the club licensing regulations, the GFA asked all elite clubs to provide a main stadium, alternative stadium, and a separate facility for training purposes. Top flight size Kumasi Asante Kotoko and King Faisal picked the Baba Yara Stadium as first choice for the 2020-21 season, with the renovation works at the facility nearly complete. Division 1 league size Pacific Heroes and Asokwa Deportivo were also part of the clubs to submit the Baba Yara Stadium heading into the new football season. The inspection team, led by the licensing manager Julius Ben Emuna, was received by the acting regional director of the NSA, Mr. Emmanuel Kojo Apia, when they arrived for the exercise. Assistant Operations Director of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Lucy Josephine Ando, represented the Porcupine Warriors, while Awa Mohammed, PRO of King Faisal, and Ni Odoy Aye, Marketing Manager of the Inshallah Boys, represented King Faisal as well. During the inspection, the team toured certain units within the facility, including the pitch, camera positions, and the mid-zone. For the mid-zone, the inspection team requested for an additional work to be done in order to limit the supporters from gaining access to the players after matches. In the end, there was every indication that the team was satisfied with the standard of the facility after the inspection. Don't forget, the final report on the various facilities will be submitted to the club licensing committee for approval before the final review meeting with the clubs, leading to an approved list of stadiums for matches. From Kumasi for Joy Sports, Steve Zando reporting.
Now, national cyclist Abdul Samad stole the show in the maiden edition of the Osagyefo criterium by winning the coveted title in dramatic fashion, urging Solomon Tego and Saliu Mohammed. Asari Bediako was at the event for Joy Sports.
The 27-year-old Abdul Samad won the 119-kilometer charity cycling race, making a time of 2 hours, 45 minutes and 03 seconds, while Tego and Mohammed finished second behind him in 2 hours, 46 minutes, 04 seconds and 2 hours, 46 minutes, 05 seconds, respectively. After securing a hard-fought win, Abdul Samad told Joy Sports he was certain of victory ahead of the race, but commended his closest competitors for giving him a run for his money.
Yeah, it's very difficult because I tried to break the peloton, but they showed too much aggressive. I think I went about 5 to 7 laps and they caught me. So they caught me, I think, about 7 laps to finishing. So I joined them back again. So as I joined them, I think I win by sprinting. Yeah, it was very, very hard, very, very hard. Yeah. I'm targeting all African Games if God permitting, and I'm in the national team already. So I'm trying my best to maintain in the national team selection in terms of all Africa Games is concerned. In the next 5 years, I'll be hoping to see myself competing in Europe, because in Europe, that's where the competitions are. In terms of Africa, the competition is very low. So I'm looking forward, if God permits, I can compete in Europe.
Clementina Ayong won a 2,000 Ghana Cedi cash prize after emerging the women's champion, winning the 15-kilometer lap. Nathaniel Hammond is one of the brains behind the Osagyefo criterium.
Well, it's been very, very impressive. Very, very impressive. I was here right from the word, and you could see the enthusiasm with which the cyclists did. It was so much competitive, because you could see it's as we've done with the race, but then we've not been able to determine all the positions because it was so close. So you can see the guys really put in much effort. Oh, there's going to be more editions, and I'm sure there will be other editions. It's not just going to be Osagyefo criterium, there will be other editions of the same ride. Yeah, there's going to be more editions. Cycling is very, very good for your health. It exercises every part of your body, okay? That's very good. Then secondly, it's a sport like every other sport that people love. And then thirdly, we don't really have a lot of cyclists representing Ghana out there. So with this, we know that more people can come up, and we'll see Ghana at a very big stage.
A total of 87 cyclists competed in the race, which was organized by the Gladiator Cycling Club in Accra to mark the birthday of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
And that's it for this installment. More sports later in the bulletin.
Welcome back to Joy News Prime. To the rest of our stories. Was she pregnant? Was she kidnapped? These are two questions the entire country is struggling to answer right now. The hospital administrator at the Takoradi Hospital, popularly known as the European Hospital, Reverend Osagyefo, has confirmed to Joy News that Josephine Payne Simmons, the lady who is at the center of kidnapping and pregnancy in the Western region, has been visiting that hospital for some time now. He says the first time the lady visited the hospital was on the 9th and 10th of September 2020 and has since been visiting. He was, however, not willing to reveal the circumstance under which Josephine visits the hospital.
Been here for more than once, and the first time he came here was 9th and 10th of September 2020. I pay our records, and after that, she's been here 1 or 2 occasions to assess, her care services. All right, but as you know, this has become national interest. In fact, I believe that even the IGP wrapped down to the police command in the region and our district here. This morning, we have officers from the central police station here as a follow-up on this same issue. And there were 3 here, including the regional crime officer, the Takoradi station here. Yes, and I told them that, yes, we have gone to our records, like I say, we have seen traces of her coming here. And but per operation, we will not we can't release details of medical condition for which he assessed the hospital, the facility. And so if they so desire and they want to get the details about the condition for which she came here, she will put everything to writing, and when we service, we will take it from there, and if it becomes necessary, as we are compelled by law, we will do so and give them the full report of the person in question. Condition for which she comes here, that one I can't disclose it.
Because you are not obliged by
yeah, I'm not, because that is a confidentiality, patient confidentiality. We can't disclose any person's condition to the third party without the express approval of the person concerned or by law. Yes, so for now, I cannot disclose the details, medical condition for which it was obtained when she came here for services.
29-year-old Josephine Simmons was reported missing by her husband last week. She was said to be pregnant at that time of her disappearance. Family sources then alleged days later that they had received a call from supposed kidnappers of Josephine who demanded a ransom for her release. Well, Sunday, a carpenter came up and said he had found her in Axim, 60 kilometers away from the location of her alleged disappearance. The tale of events has given the country a lot to think about, considering the disappearance of some 4 girls in Takoradi about 3 years ago. The girls were later found to have been killed by a man suspected to have kidnapped them. So, Western Regional Minister Oti Region earlier on Monday said an initial probe by the National Investigations Bureau shows the story of the woman is false. This position is being challenged, though, by the man who is married to this woman. We have all the details, but first, a report capturing what we know so far.
Husband of the woman, Michael Simmons, says his wife stepped out for a brief walk in the neighborhood.
Going for a health walk. Her mother, according to her mother, she said she was feeling some abdominal pains and some feelings that she was going to deliver that same week. And so she took the card with her so that she in case that if things are going rough, then she just take a taxi and then go to the hospital. So that he called me to meet her at the hospital.
He says when the family noticed she was not showing up, they embarked on a frantic search visiting various hospitals. He insists his wife was 9 months pregnant.
She was pregnant for 9 months, and she was kidnapped at Old John Saba Road. When we noticed her absence, searched for her at various hospitals in Takoradi.
He claims to have even reported the matter to the police.
Yeah, the name of the CID that I gave the case to was Inspector Hakim.
His mother-in-law is said to have received a call from persons claiming to have kidnapped the woman, demanding a ransom.
My mother-in-law, came back with a cry saying some guys have called her to tell her that her daughter has been kidnapped. They have her daughter, so she should bring up some ransom for them to release her.
Josephine Simmons was found at Axim on Tuesday, 1 week after her disappearance, by a carpenter, Kwesinana.
When I got closer, she couldn't talk, but I could tell that she was mentally stable. She could only communicate through sign language. She later wrote on a paper that I should call her pastor. She was not willing to eat and was only crying. Through her sign language, she told me she was tied and gagged, and she became unconscious, but as she struggled with her kidnappers, she lost her baby.
The community has waded into this matter. Let's hear from Western Regional Minister Oti Region, who's been speaking on Takoradi-based Connect FM.
Honorable documents, honorable documents, I'm watching. Now, what to say?
I do Morocco.
Yes. Some we see a bra, a kidnap women, say, oh, share, proceed for sending money who are moon to an among. A brother and your friend was so ray.
In Dra, na BNI for the sending report is I'm na our Azim hospital. The police for no are still there. The medical doctor no so action. Na ma Odikan ni there. From their preliminary investigation, they suspect that this whole story was fake, and that the medical doctor was even looked at her, saying that Onyobia Onyinsan is so. This thing has been bundled around for a very long time like that. So that is the immediate information we have now. But police phone were at the hospital.
Medical officer no or examine a rano or say
for trying
story near fake. Na rano on him. It's only saying
that be.
Hey,
but you know that's the information
na
my security people have brought to me.
Obano Minini kunu kasa no pe wo se wawo pen wawo baako na bema no so se ne yire nyim ne maame so se wonyim na wawo so wawo ne ba no ni ho doctor no so examine doctor no so hu se wawo
He said Dr. Noboa no I could the same thing I'm a BNI for it.
Michael Simmons was the husband of the woman in Census' wife was pregnant and indeed went missing.
Don't know where those accusations or allegations are coming from because neither the police nor the doctor have said anything to us. Neither of them have said anything concerning my wife's pregnancy to us. So we don't know where that information is coming from. I have brought a patient to your hospital. I said, this is the problem. And you find otherwise. You have to notify me first. Like, you can't just go public with the news that she's not pregnant.
Between May and September this year alone, the taxpayer has coughed up to 10 million cedis to fund the president's trips, including his recent trip to the UN General Assembly. That's according to North Tongue MP Samuel Osagyefo Ablakwa, who has filed another urgent question in Parliament demanding full disclosure on cost of the president's latest foreign travels, as he accuses President Akufo-Addo of using a luxurious jet costing 3.7 million cedis for his recent trip to the United States. The question remains why the president is still not using the presidential jet when it has emerged that Liberian President John Dramani recently used it for the ECOWAS meeting. There's more in the following News Desk report.
It is really shocking, I must say, that the Ghanaian people can be treated with such presidential contempt when the dust is yet to settle on the Airbus AC J320 new Skybat scandal, now infamous for the ministerial acrobatics in Parliament. Words of North Tongue MP Samuel Osagyefo Ablakwa in the latest article on the president's recent trips. There is renewed public outreach as it emerges once again that Ghanaians will cough up another 3.7 million cedis to fund a private charter of a luxurious aircraft for the president and his team to travel to the United States to participate in the UN General Assembly. Already, Mr. Osagyefo Ablakwa has announced his intention to file another urgent question to demand full disclosure on how much the president's charter trip is depleting state resources.
Why is our president not using it to save money? 10 million Ghana cedis, hoping 10 million Ghana cedis for just 3 trips, in the space of less than 3 months. I can assure you that we will pursue these 2 other recent trips.
The presidency has, however, declined comment, saying the matter is an issue of national security. They also confirmed, however, that Liberia President George Weah used the country's presidential jet for the ECOWAS meeting here in Accra, granted based on a request made to the office of Ghana's president. An online video we have cited show the Falcon landing on the tarmac with the inscription Republic of Ghana, with Liberia President George Weah in white apparel stepping out of the presidential jet. When the ministers of Finance and Defense, Ken Oforiatta and Dominic Netiwo, appeared before Parliament on the cost and whether the presidential jet was fit for purpose when the matter came up earlier this year, this was their response.
Mr. Speaker, the President's domestic and international travels are matters to do with national security. The National Security Minister is really best placed, Mr. Speaker, to furnish this honorable House with the details needed.
When the president is traveling with more than 20 people, he will need more than just a Falcon. The president, in fact, has to go a day ahead because no president can shower in this aircraft. You cannot freshen up in this aircraft. So you cannot move from this aircraft straight into a meeting.
The question now remains whether it has become absolutely necessary to demand a national policy on presidential travels similar to what pertains in other jurisdictions. Will the National Security Ministry provide details on the presidential travels so far? It remains to be seen how it will all unfold when Parliament resumes sitting.
Meanwhile, a former Chief of Staff, Kwejo Mpieni, says Ghana can adapt best practices that oblige the president to pay for his private foreign trips. He also spoke to us when the issue first broke up.
Maybe president using the official aircraft for some other things, not related to his work as a president of the nation. For example, if, the president has been invited to, say, United Kingdom to get to London, and maybe he has to do some private something private in, say, Germany or Belgium and decides to travel to those areas using the aircraft. Well, in some countries, I mean, what they do, I can give you US as a typical example, that any travel not related to the president's official duties, travels relating to his private, for his own private purposes, the president will have to pay for the cost of that travel. In other words, the state will calculate how much for traveling from the official function to the private function, and then the president will have to reimburse the state for the cost of that travel. I think this happens I know, for example, in the US, they do that. The president uses what they call the Air Force One for official duties, but the president at the same time can use it for maybe rallies and things of that. They have a policy where if the president uses the Air Force One, which is solely for the use of president for his official functions, but which also enables him to use it for private purposes, then you have to pay the state for the cost of the private use. If that's what we are talking about, well, I don't see anything wrong about that.
You think it's a policy Ghana should probably adopt?
Something we can think about, then maybe adopt, so that any president will know that my travel to, say, the United States, to New York for UN session, I think they have this in September or something. So the president travels there. But if while in say Washington, the president decides to do something private in, say, Brazil, of course he has to use his aircraft for sake of security and other reasons. He can use it. But then because it wasn't something relating to the state, then he has to reimburse the state with the cost of that travel.
You heard the former Chief of Staff, Kojo Mpieni. The Oti region has experienced a total overhaul of its 8 MDCEs following the release of the list of nominees. What exactly has accounted for this? While some residents think it's because the former district and municipal chief executives did not champion the course of development, others say government did not get its first term appointees right. The MPP first vice chair for the region, Kofi Jane Tim, who was a 2-term DCE for KJB district, has been providing some explanation. There's more in the following report.
Well, following the release of the list of MMDCs across the country, we have seen protests and some disturbances. But here in the Oti region, it is peaceful, but there is loud silence among party faithfuls who wouldn't even want to go on record. We have been speaking to Ajay Kofi Intim, a former DCE for the KJB district and also now the first vice chairman for the MPP in the region. I have been speaking to him and asking him a few questions about what he made of the complete overhaul of the MDCs here in the Oti region and the way forward for the party at large. What do you make of this complete overhaul?
I don't see anything wrong with it. I mean, some experience is required in administering the districts properly. It would have been good if the committee has seen the need to retain some of them. But if in the wisdom of the committee we want to give the opportunity to others, I think there is nothing wrong with it.
It's not an indictment, first on the party and on your appointees not to have done so well to merit a second term.
Oh, no, not at all. Some of them have really graduated up. The Central Regional Minister, for instance, was a district chief executive in Swedro or something, a lady. She's not a regional minister. And so if the government in the same wisdom thinks that it should be replaced, so be it. The opportunity to do a second time or second term was not given to me on a silver platter. It came out of hard work. And that is not to suggest that those who did not have the opportunity to serve the second time did not work hard enough.
Let's talk about the work of the committee in the region, at least for which you are the first vice chairman. What do you make of the quality of work done? Did they do a meticulous job?
I believe that they gave us the best.
Right.
Instead of arguing and challenging and demonstrating, let us see what we can do to support them and assist them to excel, because this administration is a very difficult thing. They won't have to put their hands to the wheels to make them successful.
Breaking the 8 and the performance of the MPP in the Oti region. In fact, the only seat you had, you lost it. But what happened?
Our inability to win a seat in the region is so disgraceful, and it is not a thing anybody is proud about. But there were good reasons why we didn't get any seat at all. Because the regional leadership itself, they didn't do many things right.
Of which you are part?
Yes. I think that we went into the election without any corporate strategy. And if you don't go into election with any strategy, how do you expect to win seats?
I'm curious, what happened such that a whole regional body didn't go into an election with a corporate strategy? Meanwhile, you guys are all old hands in the region.
Those are very serious internal problems. Those are very serious internal problems. And about the party structure, with the new patriotic party, especially at the regional level, it's all about the substantive regional chairman and the direction he wants to go. And that is what has brought us to this level.
Well, he didn't stare well.
I don't want to talk about those are internal because I don't have to open up my party too much because
why?
This is a TV program. The opposition will learn from it.
This is a political party seeking to serve the interest of the people. If there's a problem, you can share with the public. Maybe solutions
you are talking about no. You don't share party problems with the public. You share party problems with party members.
So we just quickly want to find out from some residents here, what do you make of the complete overhaul?
Most of them did not perform well. That's why none of them has the chance to go to the second term. So the president did it well to rechange all of them. The new one, we hope that as they are in, they shouldn't learn from the old ones, but they should do their best to do their work.
What do you mean when you say they have not performed well?
No, if you look at the town, for this time, we the youth, we are suffering. Our DC, they don't help most of the youth, particularly in town. In KJB town, they don't help the youth. Yeah, so the youth are suffering in terms of job.
For me, this state categorically that the previous ones were like a test. So the president appointing new ones now shows that he's doing a correction, a rework in favor of the constituency, so that these ones can work to achieve what the indigenes want.
My name is Peter Sanu for Joy News.
And back here in Accra in the studio, my name is Aisha Ibrahim. The new patriotic party in the Kwabri East municipality are optimistic assembly members will massively endorse the president's nominee for the MCE position. First Vice Chair De Graft Amankwa-Frimpong is predicting at least 90% of the electorate approving the nominee. There's more in the following report.
Following the nomination of Opoku Ajiman Bonsu on Sunday, the party says leadership were tasked to lobby assembly members to support the nomination. Mr. Amankwa-Frimpong explains they have so far received positive feedback, awaiting a set date for the election.
We have 46 assembly members, and we have put in plans, in place to make sure that if we don't get 100%, I'll be surprised. I'll be surprised because already we knew that it has never happened that the president will nominate somebody in Kwabri, especially from the NPP government, then we will reject. We stand nothing to gain if we reject a member that our president, well, let me even say the party has even, proposed. Even if it comes that the person came from whatsoever, we will never oppose the person. We have already spoken to some of the assembly members, and honestly, I wouldn't want to drink the soup before the food. But be rest assured, our MCE is going to be confirmed.
The nominee has been vibrant, serving as assembly member in the area. Mr. Amankwa-Frimpong believes knowledge of grassroots politics puts the nominee in better position. The expectations of the nominee are enormous, with facilitation of road projects as paramount.
We have a big constituency. It doesn't matter the pool of resources that comes, at a time it can shrink because of the magnitude of the work that we have. Already the president has started a number of projects. It's our prayer that God will give him wisdom, will give him tenacity. Then again, we get a pool of resources to make sure that things go as expected. We strongly believe that once we are under the government of the new patriotic party, we are not going to be left out. We are praying for good roads. We are praying, let's even say the whole Ghana. We are praying for good roads, jobs, and other things. But practically, we have some talks indoors, and we know that the president is going to deliver on some of the promises he has given to the people of Cameroon, the chiefs and everybody.
Some constituents are thanking the president for the nomination.
Former Mayor of Accra, Alfred Oko-Vanderpoy, has charged government to stamp out all political elements within the distribution chain of Premix fuel meant for fisher folks. The product, which is subsidized by government, is distributed to various fishing communities under the supervision of the National Premix Fuel Committee. But the fisher folks say the product is now being controlled by legal cartels which are hoarding and selling to them at exorbitant prices. Manuel Quarantine was at a community engagement held by some leading members of the NDC with fisher folks at Choco, and he has filed this report.
Today is Kwame Nkrumah's day, and we are celebrating as such. And also, today is a day that the fisher folks don't go to sea. So we added the two and made sure that the missing link between us...
Former Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu explaining why some senior members of the opposition National Democratic Congress decided to engage fisher folks within the Choco community on Nkrumah Memorial Day. The fisher folks, among other things, raised concerns about the recent challenges with premix fuel. Now it is very difficult to get a premix fuel. When our husbands go to fish, they don't get enough catch. It's even very difficult for us to get the premix fuel to buy. We beg the government to make it accessible so that our husbands can return to work and get us something to eat. It's become a huge challenge in the area. Some people who are not part of the fisher folks are the ones controlling the premix, and they sell to us at exorbitant prices. It's very disturbing. It's hurting our jobs. We are unable to properly fish because we don't get access to the premix fuel. MP for Blakuma South and former Accra Mayor Alfred Okuvandapoy stresses on how the politicization of the distribution process is hurting livelihoods. He recounts how Premix fuel administration under his watch was done and calls. For a return to that system.
We did not look at party folks. The Premix fuel is for fisher folks. So there is no need to get non-fisher folks involved in that business. Today, the Premix fuel is not going directly to the fisher folks. You understand? They will tell you that some individuals will get it and then resell it to them. So what is the benefit of the Premix fuel? Secondly, I also know that when the Premix fuel will go to the fisher folks, they will have a program to which the interest or whatever benefit is accrues out of the sale. They will sit down and they will say that at the end of it, we want to undertake this project. We want to do this. Today, that is not in existence. So Premix fuel is coming to our people every day. It is being sold every day, but where is the benefit? Where is it going? It's going into the pockets of some people who do not even belong to the fishing industry.
Meanwhile, former MP for Blakuma South, Fritz Baffo, believes government must begin treating the fisher folk as an important segment of the country.
The powers that be have got to pay a lot more attention to the concerns of the fishing communities in Ghana. They're a very, very important group in terms of revenue, in terms of service to the community. So we have to make them a special sort of constituency that we've got to address. We can't dismiss them.
We're still live on Joy News Prime. We'll take a break and make way for the second part of business and sports. Do stay tuned in.
In business, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has begun its 102nd meeting from today. The meeting, which is expected to end on Friday, will look into various developments in the Ghanaian economy and will end up with a decision on the policy rate, which is the rate at which commercial banks borrow from the central bank. Another major development that the committee will look at is the stability of the city. The city has come under some pressure in recent times, and it's expected that the Dr. Addison-led committee will come out with a strategy to help address the challenge. The MPC will also assess the central bank's composite index of economic activity. It will also make projections for inflation as well as proffer advice to the central government on measures to tackle the nation's rising debt and improve the fiscal balance. And as always, we shall give you updates as and when it is announced. Now, Stanbic Bank led the market share of banks that invested on the Ghana Stock Exchange fixed income market in month of August as it controlled 22.58% of total values of securities or debt instruments traded. It was followed by Standard Chartered Bank, which had a market share of about 14.48%. Charles Nexon looks at the Ghana fixed income market report and gives us more in terms of the August details in this report.
Stanbic and Stanchart together bought or invested almost 5 billion cedis of their funds in the government of Ghana securities during the month of August. They are expected to earn appreciable interest income from the risk-free instrument to grow their bottom line. Both banks had remained cautious by being prudent in lending, particularly during this COVID-19 period, in order not to incur high non-performing loans going forward. GCB Bank followed in the third position, controlling about 11.51% of the debt market, investing a little above 1.5 billion cedis on the Ghana Stock Exchange fixed income market. Access, EcoBank, Fidelity, and GT Bank followed in the fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh positions respectively. Together, they control 28.41% of the share of the debt market, investing about 3.7 billion cedis of their funds on the Ghana fixed income market. With the exception of Omni BSIC that did not invest on the debt market, all the 22 banks bought government securities. According to the Bank of Ghana, banks' investment in bills, securities and equity remain the largest component of total assets as of the end of June this year.
Now, the head of beers at Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited, Rolando Fori, says over 40 million cedis has been invested in small bars and enterprises after the devastating effect of COVID-19. According to him, giving back to its patrons is a venture that deserves the necessary investment. Guinness Ghana Breweries Limited has launched the Black Shines Brightest campaign to celebrate its black liquid and highlight black people and creatives on the African continent.
It will interest you to know that even in the makeup of Guinness, we work with a lot of, small business holders within the chain. So I think that the last impact study we did, we were affecting over 200,000 people, right from the farmers who grow the sorghum and knows that once they harvest, we are buying everything, to the aggregators who put them together, to the haulers who transport it to our breweries. Then when it is packaged into beer, all our KDs, who also employ hundreds of people, to our retailers, our wholesalers, they are all involved in our production. So for any bottle of Guinness that is produced, we have hundreds of thousands of people who contribute to it, and they have guaranteed employment because of our existence. So this campaign is just to throw light on what we do, and also, as I said, handpick a couple of young enterprising Ghanaians and Africans, just to kind of encourage the African that is possible. I must say that if you look at Africa, it is the continent with the most youthful population, and that comes with a lot of strife around unemployment and all. And sometimes you just need someone to encourage you that, listen, that small talent you have, that small business you are doing, if you keep at it, you'll be able to attract the right players to do. And one biggest example is Incredible Ziggy. I'm not sure in the past, dancers had a lot of respect in this country. But this guy is making waves all across the globe, just because of dance.
Director General Intelligence of the Ghana Police Service, Mami Atiwa Adankwa, has charged accountants to adopt new trends of technology and digitization in the organizations to keep them aligned with new developments. She was speaking at the special seminar by the Accra North District Society of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, Ghana.
Director General Intelligence of the Ghana Police Service, Mami Tiwa Adadankwa, has admonished accountants to adhere to the code of ethics of the profession in order to manage their finances well and fight corruption. According to her, accounting information is a vital tool in ensuring successes in business, an element the nation cannot do away with.
Ethics. One of the
cardinal points of a professional accountant is the ethical issues. There are a lot of things that you do and you yourself you think is not the right thing. If we're able to enforce our ethical behavior, it will shape the way we do things. For instance, in preparation of financial statements, you make sure that you're actually giving out the information, the accurate information about the accounts, because if somebody wants to invest into a business, the person will look at your financial statement, and if you are not giving out the accurate information, the person will be swayed in thinking that whatever you have presented is something that I have to invest in it. Probably it is just fake. It's something that is not giving the true and accurate information about the organization.
COP Maame Tiwa Adudankwa, who is a chartered accountant, was speaking at a special seminar by the Accra North District Society of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. She also charged accountants to stay abreast with the rising trends in digitalization and technology as a means of making their work easier and more efficient.
Now things are done this way. What happens the next 2 years? If you look at what is happening in the country, we are moving to the digital area. As an accountant, how do you help people to understand the digital era? How do you use ICT to enhance your business? How do you use ICT to make things better, to improve upon what you do, make it better, improve upon your probably profit? And at the end of the day, the more you make profit, the more you invest, the more you expand your business, the more you're able to employ other people into the business, and the more you make the whole country's development go up.
Finance Secretary of the Accra North District Society of the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana, Benjamin Frimpong, believes strengthening the audit system of the country is a step in ensuring fairness and accountability.
Africa, as we know, is a continent that is undoubtedly gifted with a lot of natural resources, yet a significant canker like corruption has deprived the continent of a certain level of economic advancement or growth, if I may say. And then I believe this is where the professional accountants come in helping to reduce to the barest minimum, if not eradicate it completely, the canker of corruption. And then one of the ways that this could be done is the strengthening of internal audit function within the public sector institutions. And I believe if this feat is achieved, it's going to help in the long run towards the realization of the potential of Ghana and the African continent as a whole.
Now, the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources fears Ghana might lose its enviable first position as a leading gold producer in Africa because of a 3% withholding tax. Deputy Sector Minister George Duka says this could be blamed for the high incidence of gold smuggling by some producers to neighboring countries. There is an ongoing engagement with the Finance Ministry to review the tax. Mr. Duka spoke at the workshop on the digitalization of licensing of small-scale mining held in Kumasi. Prince Apia has more in this report.
The 3% withholding tax is one of the highest in the sub-region, which according to industry players is compelling most producers to smuggle their gold to nearby countries. Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of mining, George Duka, observes this threatens Ghana's gold production status and its revenue. He expects the Ministry of Finance to reconsider the withholding tax to secure Ghana's gold production status.
Ghana is a leading producer of gold in Africa since 2018 and 6th in the world, with an average production of 4.2 million ounces over the lead period. And let me reiterate the point here that if care is not taken on the withholding tax component that we've instituted, we'll move from the leading position probably to the third. Because you realize that if you do the comparison from the export points, you're realizing that we are dwindling.
As the leading gold producer in Africa, Ghana produces 4.2 million ounces annually, placing the country at the 6th position in the world. Mr. Duka revealed the government of Ghana is partnering the Indian government to construct a gold refinery to add value to gold mined in the country.
We have partnered an Indian government to put up a refinery in Ghana. And that refinery is about 85% complete. By November, we should start operating. If we start refining gold in the country,
then obviously to put more, value on the gold that we sell.
The Deputy Minister was speaking at a workshop on digitization of licensing of small-scale mining in Kumasi. It brought together both regional and district officers of the Minerals Commission. CEO of the Commission, Martin Kwekweisi, says the digitization is meant to address delays in acquiring mining licenses.
Now that you don't have to go to the bank and go and do a banker draft, it means that it should be possible for a small-scale miner to even submit an application over the weekend, because he can just pay by Momo and the system will pick it. So with this maximum, maybe a week or less, we should be able to process an application for it to go to the ministry.
The initiative forms part of mandate of the Minerals Commission to complement the work of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources. Prince Apia reporting.
And that'll be it for business, but we'll leave you with a summary of international business news, after which we have sports to stay.
Welcome back to Sports here on Joy News Prime. And the board member of Accra Hearts of Oak, Vincent Sowodote, believes the Phobians have what it takes to compete with the continent's elite football clubs. Hearts, who won the CAF Champions League in the year 2000, have begun this year's campaign on a good note, beating Guinean side CI Kamsa ahead of their next game against Wydad Athletic Club of Morocco. Dote Sowa is confident Hearts can claw back lost glory.
Well, let me thank them very much. Our supporters. It's been a very topsy-turvy 10 years. It's been very tumultuous. And we all know the challenges we've been through. We want to thank them for their perseverance and the resilience. What we can assure them is that the current board is determined to change the narrative of Hearts of Oak. The current board is determined to move the club to where it belongs in history. And as the board chairman said, we are determined to make the club the preeminent club to achieve preeminence in Africa. We believe that we can build a sporting brand that can make this country proud. We believe we can build a sporting brand that can compete with any other sporting brand anywhere in the world. That is the vision, that's the determination, because we believe that Accra Hearts of Oak has the potential to rival any sporting entity anywhere in the world.
Our football fans in Cameroon have backed the country's icon footballer Samuel Eto'o on becoming the next president of their football association. There is more in this report.
The former Barcelona and Inter Milan star made the announcement on his social media on Tuesday evening, saying he had taken a decision out of love for Cameroon and passion for our football. People in the capital Yaoundé have been reacting to the news.
Moi, je pense que c'est
I think that Samuel Eto'o is a very big player. I think he knows football, he knows what can happen, and the challenges for footballers. I think he's better placed to be president of Fecafoot, in my humble opinion.
For me, I think it's a good thing for the evolution of football in Cameroon, because I believe that football needs some actual footballers in charge.
But let's get some updates from the EFL Cup. I can tell you that Manchester United have lost against West Ham United by a goal to nil. Brighton and Hove Albion also beating Swansea by 2-0. Arsenal beating Wimbledon by 3-0. Chelsea winning on penalties after the game ended in normal time, 1-1 against Aston Villa. And there you go, Manchester United losing by a goal to nil against West Ham United at Old Trafford. Millwall also losing by 2-0 against Leicester, and also Wolves progressing after, Tottenham, I beg your pardon, progressing after extra time 2-2 on penalties. La Liga action also, Espanyol beating Deportivo Alaves by a goal to nil. Sevilla beating Valencia by 3-1. It's half-time between Real Madrid and Mallorca, 3-1 Real Madrid lead. Half-time between Villarreal and Elche, Villarreal lead by 2-1. In the Serie A, Salernitana and Verona full-time 2-2 in that game. And Juventus, just about getting past Spezia by 3-2. AC Milan also beating Venezia by 2-0. And Cagliari losing by 2-0 against Empoli. And of course, you can read more sports at myjoyonline.com/sports. My name is Hans Mensando.
And that's why we draw the curtains on Joy News Prime. My name is Aisha Ibrahim. For more news, log on to myjoyonline.com for all the updates of the developing stories. To enjoy the rest of our programs.
My name is Kujo Yankson. Let me tell you how to turn back time. You can now bring back all the fun, all the excitement, all the controversy of the Super Morning Show and all your favorite Joy shows when you go to myjoyonline.com/podcasts. Just select your favorite show and bring it all back again. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
Radio. Joy 99.7.
Up close on Reason is Jesus. My name is P.P. Fulton, the Christocentric.